Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Ray. I'm the owner of Daywalk3r Productions and creator of Bio. Now I don't know if you're anything like me, but I learn faster when someone shows me how to do something than I do having to read a bunch of stuffy old rulebook information. So today, I'm going to run through a few rounds of a 4-player game of Bio so that hopefully, if you're like me, I'll save you a lot of reading and expedite the process of actually playing the game. But that's enough chatter, let's get down to business. Start by setting out the 4 cheat cards so that everyone can have access to them if they need them. Next, give each player 2 wild zombie cards, a left brain and a right brain. Any extra wild zombie and brain cards can be set aside because you won't be using them. Place the brain cards on top of the wild zombie cards as shown. This is your life meter and a key feature of how Bio increases its own difficulty as the game progresses. Once every player has had their wild zombies and brains set up, shuffle the remaining cards and deal 7 to each player. Place the remaining cards in the center of the table to be the draw pile. Decide who will be the first player by whatever means you choose. That player will then flip the top card of the draw pile over to create your main discard pile and first active stack. There are 2 phases of play in Bio, the sneak phase and the chase phase. We'll start where every game of Bio starts, in the sneak phase. In the story that each game tells, the sneak phase is your team's attempt to sneak quietly out of the building. You do this by matching either the color or card type of the top card of the currently active stack, which right now is the main discard pile. This means the active card is a green knife. Player 1 wants to play this red knife. As you can see, the colors don't match. One is red and one is green. But the card type does because they are both knife cards, which means they can play this card on the active stack. They do this by putting the card on top of the active stack. Now that they've played a card, this ends their turn. Turn order in Bio may change direction during play, but it will always start going clockwise. The top card of the currently active stack is player 1's red knife. Player 2 must now play a card that matches either the color or card type of that card. As we can see, player 2 has a red pistol. While this doesn't match the card type of the active card, it does match the color, which means it can be played. Player 2 does so by placing it on top of the currently active stack, ending their turn and moving the turn order in its current direction, which is still clockwise. The top card of the currently active stack is player 2's red pistol. Player 3 must now play a card that matches either the color or card type of that card. Up to this point, all we've seen played have been weapon cards. There are 3 types of weapon cards: knives, pistols, and rifles. But what player 3 wants to use is this red run. This is a basic action card. You can tell the difference between weapon cards and basic action cards by the full face art, different splatter pattern, and different text layout. Basic action cards in the story are ways for your team to quietly deal with threats, running, pushing, and hiding, which means they can be played in the sneak phase without triggering a chase. So while this is a different card type, it can still be played because it matches the color of the active card. Player 3 does so by placing it on top of the currently active stack. Normally, since a card was played, it would just be the end of the player's turn and then we move on clockwise to the next player. But basic action cards actually have special abilities. Narratively, you run past the next player, effectively skipping their turn. So, instead of moving clockwise to player 4 next, we go past them and it becomes player 1's turn again. The top card of the currently active stack is a red run. Player 1 could play either their red knife or the red push. While neither matches the card type of the active card, they both match the color, so either choice is viable. But player 1 decides to play the push by putting it on top of the currently active stack. Again, now that a card has been played, normally you would just end the turn and move on. But remember, the push is a basic action card, meaning it can be played during the sneak phase without triggering a chase, and it also has a special ability. A push is like you pushing a threat away from you and back where it came from. Which is narrator speak, that means a push card reverses the turn order. So now, instead of turns moving clockwise, they will flow counterclockwise, making it player 4's turn again. Player 4 has no matching card types to the current active card, and the only one they have that matches the color is this stock up card. But stock up cards and zombie cards are what we call chase action cards, meaning they have a special ability and they start a chase. Now we start the chase phase. The start of a chase means the start of a new active stack. So instead of placing the card here, like normal, you actually place it below the draw pile, creating a new active chase stack. While chase cards have abilities like basic action cards do, they are a little different in the fact that their abilities don't actually take effect until someone is unable to play a card on the stack. I'll explain that more when we get to it. Turn order always continues to move in the same direction until it's changed, so that means turn order will continue to move counterclockwise into player 3. Now that we are in the chase phase, player 3 must still match the color or card type of the active card, but they can no longer play weapon cards by themselves. It's another mechanic, I'll explain in a bit. But for now, just know that since we are currently in a chase, that red rifle card can't currently be played. But the good news is, the stock up can. See, the thing about chase action cards is that regardless of what the individual card does, stock up cards are all stock up cards, and zombie cards are all zombie cards. This means that while the color is different, and the amount of cards drawn is different, this yellow stock up is still just a stock up card, meaning it can actually be played on the currently active card, which is also a stock up. The only time a stock up card starts a new chase stack is when it's played in the sneak phase. Otherwise, it's just added to the currently active stack. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but I promise it'll all make sense by the end. So let's move on. Still counterclockwise, by the way, to player 2. The top card of the currently active stack is a yellow stock up. Remember, we're currently in the chase phase, so player 2 can't use any of the weapon cards in their hand, but they can play basic action cards and chase cards. So, their only real choice is the yellow push and the yellow zombie. They decide to play a yellow zombie, which it doesn't match the card type, but it does match the color. So they place it as the top card of the currently active stack, ending their turn and still moving counterclockwise to player 1. The top card of the currently active stack is a yellow zombie. We are still in the chase phase and will remain so until all active chase stacks have been resolved. So player 1 can't use this yellow knife. They do, however, have 2 zombies. Remember that all zombies are just considered zombies for their card type. So even though the green zombie is a different color and the blue zombie is a different color and has a card draw attached to it, they are both just zombies for matching purposes. Player 1 decided to play the green zombie, but the current active stack already has a zombie in it, and you can only ever have 1 zombie in a chase stack, which means that this new zombie, and each zombie after the first one played, will always start a new chase stack. That's the end of the turn, and still moving counterclockwise, we go to player 4. The top card of the currently active stack is a green zombie. The green stock up doesn't match the card type, but it does match the color, and can be played in the chase phase. Remember that a stock-up card only starts a new stack if it's played in the sneak phase, otherwise they're just added to the currently active stack. Turn order is still counterclockwise and moving to player 3. The top card of the currently active stack is a green stock-up. Since they can't use the weapon cards, their only playable card is the green hide. It doesn't match the card type, but it is a basic action card, and it does match the color of the currently active card, so it goes on top of the currently active stack. A hide is the third and final type of basic action card. We know run cards skip the next player, and pushes reverse the turn order. So what does a hide do? Just what it says. You hide and let the threat pass you by, meaning you essentially pass your turn, and the turn continues as normal. So, moving counterclockwise, we go to player 2. The top card of the currently active stack is that green hide. This green zombie doesn't match the card type, but it does match the color. But remember, only 1 zombie per chase stack. So since this stack already has one, we start a new one. End of turn. Continuing counterclockwise to player 1. The top card of the currently active chase stack is a green zombie. Player 1's only real playable choice is the blue zombie. Again, only 1 zombie to a chase stack, so we start another one. Oof, this is starting to look pretty rough. We got 4 zombies in play. That's enough to turn 2 players into zombies. Hopefully, someone can start doing something about this growing horde. Still moving counterclockwise, we go to player 4. The top card of the currently active chase stack is a blue zombie. Player 4 seems to be in danger. We're still in the chase phase, they don't have any basic action cards or chase cards, and they can't play any of these weapon cards. Fortunately, they have a kill card. Kill cards are considered chase action cards, but are special in the fact that they only can ever be played on an active chase stack. They cannot be played during the sneak phase. Kill cards are wild and can be played on any color or card type, as long as it's on an active chase stack. A kill card kills the currently active stack. That means that any zombies or card draw that have accumulated in that stack is ignored and moved to the main discard pile. That's right, it doesn't matter if there's 20 cards worth of card draw in that chase stack. A single kill card negates all of them. The way they work is you place it on top of the currently active chase stack, then you gather the cards, keeping them in the same order, and then place that stack on top of the main discard pile. This ends the player's turn, and then we continue counterclockwise. Now that the chase stack has been resolved, the next closest stack becomes the currently active chase stack. This means that the top card of the currently active chase stack is a green zombie. Things look really bad for player 3. Not only do they not have any basic action or chase cards, they also aren't fortunate enough to have a kill card. But remember when I said weapon cards couldn't be played in the chase phase? Well, that's not 100% true. You can't play single weapon cards during the chase phase, but if you have enough of a weapon card to equal the number of icons in their corners, you can actually play multiple weapon cards at the same time. So looking at player 3's hand again, we see that the knife card has 4 knife icons, but they only have 1 knife, so that's not going to work. The pistol has 3 bullets, but they only have 1 pistol card. The rifle, however, the rifle has 2 bullets, and they have 2 rifle cards. Regardless of if their colors match, or if they match the color of the top card of the active stack, if you have enough weapon cards, you can play them at the same time, and the best news is that when you play multiple weapon cards in that manner, they actually count as a single kill card. That's right, not only does it give you more access to kill availability, but it also allows you to empty your hand faster. Just as a kill card works, so does a weapon kill. Place the appropriate number of said weapons on top of the currently active stack, so we put these 2 rifles on top, gather the cards in their current order, and then place them on top of the main discard pile. Still moving counterclockwise, we go to player 2. Since another chase stack is gone, the next closest one becomes the currently active chase stack, making the top card of the currently active chase stack a green hide. Oof, it looks like Black has finally caught up with someone. Player 2 doesn't have enough weapon cards to be effective, they don't have any chase cards they can play, and the only basic action card they have doesn't match the current color. Not being able to match the currently active card has a few different consequences. In the sneak phase, if you can't match the active card, then you must draw cards until you can. But you're currently in the chase phase. In the chase phase, if the stack doesn't contain a zombie, you add up all the card draws in the stack, draw that many cards, and lose your turn. But if it has a zombie, you get bit. Add the draw total of all cards in that stack. When you get bit, gather the stack that bit you. Add the total number of draw cards in that stack, place the stack in the main discard pile, and draw that many cards. Next, flip your left brain card. It should now read Living. And finally, place the wild zombie from under the left brain on top of the main discard pile. This ends the player's turn. Continue moving in the current turn direction to player 1. Since the last stack bit a player and was removed to the main discard pile, the next closest in line becomes the currently active chase stack, meaning the top card of the currently active chase stack is a yellow zombie. Player 1 doesn't have enough weapon cards to be effective, no basic action cards, no chase cards, and no kill cards. It looks like they too are going to get bit. Gather the stack, add up any card draw in it, draw that many cards if there are any, place the stack on top of the main discard pile, flip the left brain, place the zombie from under it on top of the main discard pile, and this ends the turn. And we continue in the current direction to player 4. Once all active chase stacks have been resolved, the main discard pile becomes the currently active stack and returns us to the sneak phase. During a game of Bio, you will weave in and out of the sneak and chase phases. As soon as a chase card is played, it starts a chase stack, but once all chase stacks have been resolved, you move back into the sneak phase. This means that on player 4's turn, we are back in the sneak phase, and the top card of the active stack is a wild zombie. This allows player 4 to play whatever card type or color that they want. This goes for kill cards as well. I could carry on and go through more and more turns, but realistically, this would just continue in this fashion that we've been watching until one player runs out of cards or all players have become zombies. Yeah, players can become zombies, and it actually changes the way the game is played. So instead of dragging it out and going through all the other turns, let's go to something that's going to benefit you and talk about becoming a zombie. There is no player elimination bio. Instead of dying, players are transformed into zombies. This happens after they are bit a second time. If bit a second time, gather the stack that bit you. If there are any, add the number of cards to be drawn and draw them. Place the stack that bit you on top of the main discard pile. Flip your right brain card so that your brain cards together now read Living Dead. Here's where things get a little crazy. Any zombies that you drew from that card draw, place them directly into play. Any zombies that you already had in your hand, put them directly into play. Then, place the wild zombie from your right brain card as the currently active chase stack, after any of the zombies you just put into play. This represents you turning into a zombie, bringing a horde back to your team. As a zombie, you still want to run out of cards, but your game mechanics change a little bit. Getting bit no longer affects your brain cards, but when you do get bit, all zombie cards have an additional draw 2 attached to them. So zombie draw 4s will actually be zombie draw 6s, and zombies that don't make you draw will instead make you draw 2. Why the extra card draw? Because you are now helping spread the disease and leading the horde to the only things left living in this place, the other humans. From this point on, anytime you draw a card, if you draw a zombie card, it immediately goes into play. And the final difference between zombie and human players? A zombie can only win the game if they escape before the last human is turned into a zombie. That's it. You should now know everything you need to finish a game of Bio. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy your new game.